Hello and welcome from Barry Nutley to Czechoslovakia for the 1991 International 6 Days Enduro. The 66th time this event has been run, the third time here in Czechoslovakia, formerly run in 1982 and again in 1977. That was the first time it came here into the Eastern Bloc countries. Of course, we mustn't say that now these days. The country has been renamed, in fact, the Czech and Slovak Federal Republic. So to the outside world, Czechoslovakia is gone forever as such, and a great festive occasion here. The Czechs could really lift this one and take the win. Having cleaned up the previous two times on their home soil, there's every reason to believe they're going to do it again. Povážská Bystrica is about 100 miles from Prague. That's where we find ourselves, typically Czech countryside. To start on the Monday morning, quite a bit to go at. 6 days ahead of them, 842 miles, about 140 miles for each of the riders to do on each of the days. 8 o'clock then, day one, on the start. Riders go off 3 every minute, 20 nations represented, 360 competitors, as I say. The weather, as you can see, ideal for the occasion. Everybody crossing their fingers that it doesn't rain. Of course, we expect the home nation, the Czechs, to go very well early on. There's every reason to believe that they are going to wave the flag very strongly. An awful amount of money, time and work has gone into preparing this event, both from the organisers' point of view and indeed the riders. And they're straight into the teeth of the action on day one at the first cross-country test, which promises to be very stony, very fast and very dusty, as Moraglia on the tiny Kawasaki storms off first. A newcomer in World Championships, Neumann from the Dutch trophy team, but featured extremely well in the World Series this year. Nilsson, 125cc world champion. Passeri, the man who is the biggest threat to Britain's Paul Edmondson, who's now fully recovered from the collarbone injury he sustained in the World Championship. So Edmondson is really the man the British are looking for to wave the flag here. Jan van Oorschot going well. And Passeri, of course, on the factory Aprilia, really is going to be tremendously strong here. Sponsel then, for many years, a strong German 125cc rider. has quite a strong contingent too of fans who have come across the border. Now this is the star man of the British trophy team, Paul Edmondson from Cannock in Staffordshire, who narrowly missed out on retaining his 125cc world title this year, but for that injury to the collarbone he most certainly would have done so. Hess, German junior team, good training at World Championship level for the Germans, getting stronger and stronger. Green number plates for the juniors, trophy teams, red and yellow number plates for the club members. So basically this competition is open to teams to enter the trophy event, teams for the junior event, and there's nothing to stop you or I as individuals entering as a clubman if we have the necessary funds and the necessary ability, not to mention stamina. Winner of the Paris-Dakar and twice individual winner, although there's no official acknowledgement of the individual winner of this event, Stefan Peter Hansel. Grasso, the Italian. Best time in the 250cc class in this test. Gilles Lalay, the Frenchman, also a very good World Championship result for Lalay. Teammate for Grasso, Giovanni Sala, third quickest in the 250, so the Italian's looking good very early on day one. Runner-up in the 250cc world, Hedendal. French trophy team man, Charbonnel. About 20,000 people have actually turned out to watch this event, and they're spread over the 140-mile course during the course of the day. A lot of dust. The conditions here in Czechoslovakia have been just about as dry as they have across the rest of Europe for the last 6 or 8 weeks. There it is. The caption speaks for itself. Sven-Erik Jonsson, 500 world champion. Not a good day for Dick Vixel either. Flying podmole, absolutely demonic down through the woods. They're hurtling through the trees, lots of dust around. Superman trolley, but only third was the best he could do today. Plenty of time to go though, and I think most of the riders, Kent Carlson, Mr. Maximum, who cruised to the 350cc four-stroke World Championship, and the very popular German Bert von Zitzenwitz in the big four-stroke class is on target for third place at the end of day one. Big Bill Anderson running fourth at the moment. They need to be big men, don't they, to ride these big thumping four-strokes. The crisp exhaust note. Out in the forest then, the South African Leon Roosterberg had a pretty big crash, hurting himself and really retiring from the end of day one. So Roosterberg out, which ruins the South African team chances. Now at the evening checkpoint in front of the finish, they take all the necessary time to repair tyres and mechanical stuff. A mousse going in that tyre there, and those of you who don't know what a mousse is, it's really a black spongy sausage which fits inside the tyre and really is an aid to punctures. Paul Edmondson scraping in 5 minutes late. He's had a problem with the bike, it's just not quick enough. A little bit frustrated, I think, Edmondson, desperate to find out what the problem is. And he's actually been heard to say that if he doesn't get it sorted, then he's going to have a problem. Passeri is very quick and Edmondson is off the pace. That left him just 4 minutes service time. Trussardi has retired, so that's bad. Luca Trussardi out then, and the South African coming in, New Zealander, I beg your pardon, Hodgson, coming in minus rear tyre.
I had a perfect day today on the regularities. I took it really easy on the first cross test. I had good cross test, no mistakes. I think my extra test time will be very good. I'm happy with my overall result today. I hope I can keep it up for the 6 days.
Dort war es eigentlich für mich unheimlich gut.
Well, von Zitzenwitz, the popular German, is saying that third today was pretty good, but he needs to pull his finger out, basically. He found the hard going, and it's so easy. In fact, it's ironic he was losing concentration.
Really good day at Povážská today. Bike has gone pretty well, but we've experienced a few problems with the air filter clogging. This basically caused a few problems on the second motocross for me, where the filter was clogged and the bike was basically underpowered. But everything else has gone real good. The weather's been nice and no other problems really. I've had a good day.
Today wasn't so good for me. I had quite a lot of headache. Whole last week I had flu, and that made me feel bad. Race was okay, and the end of day I make I think a bit better tests also. So I believe tomorrow and end of week I can be a lot stronger.
Well, Tiainen not exactly confident, but there it is at the end of day one. The trophy team, the home crew sitting up on top there from Italy, Sweden, France, Germany. England at this stage was sixth. The junior trophy team, again Czechoslovakia on top. France looking strong. USA, that's a surprise. And the individual class winners, well, the 1-2-5s, we're looking for the name of Edmondson, but he didn't do it. Into the motocross then, start of day two. Motocross not particularly spectacular here in Czechoslovakia. They seem to know how to lay the circuits out, so there are no real surprises. Franco Maraglia not exactly flying. He broke a hand in the World Championship, and I think he's still feeling the effects of that. But the man who is flying, Factory Aprilia man, Passeri, my goodness me, if Passeri maintains this speed, he's going to be a very, very difficult man to beat. Edmondson getting stronger, there's no question, but he's still suffering with a lack of power on the Husqvarna. The bike's, of course, so meticulously prepared for this event. It could be quite easy just to get something a little bit wrong, but he's going to have to get it sorted. Tiainen going stronger as well, but not still as quick as the others. So the Finn Tiainen has to do something very special to rescue his chances. Peter Hansel, unbelievably quick, the Frenchman on the Sonoto Yamaha, riding a 250, so different from the huge four-stroke thumpers he rode in the Paris-Dakar. But Stefan Peter Hansel is really a master of the 250. Giving everybody a lesson pretty well, Peter Hansel there. Podmol, local man. Just about winning everything in the 500cc class at the moment. Trophy team member then for the home country. Teammate Pogledny, runner-up in the 500cc class. Then the Italian David Trolli. Devil take the hindmost here. Trolli really on the boil, but he can't beat the Czechos. He's third place behind them. Kotreba only places behind Mr. Maximum Kent Carlsen, and that's why Kotreba can't keep it on the circuit. Carlsen just doesn't put a foot wrong. World champion Katrinak on the Husaberg, confirming just why he's the top man at this class. Wins this class with 17 seconds from von Zitzenfix. Out of the motocross test then, out on the open stages. Nice weather, easy, rolling country tracks, dry, dusty, no strong uphills. Let's just pause, take time out for a few seconds and watch some of these lovely pictures. Well, you can see what enduro riding has to offer. You get to see some of the most marvelous scenery in the countryside, but wheeling in again, having taken the tyre off, and that saves time. You might think the tyre's rolled off. The young Brit Mitson retiring there. That's bad news. The rear end totally locked up. Looks like certainly a bent chain guide or rear brake calipers come adrift there. Peter Hansel supremely confident, wheeling in the Sonoto Yamaha. Beckman. 17 riders retired today, simply because maybe it was so easy in terms of the rolling countryside. Many of them lost concentration and fell into holes, hit trees. And when you're doing 140 miles in the course of a day, it's as easy as that. I mean, the average motorist, having done 140 miles, feels as though he needs a rest. You just imagine motocross type going non-stop all day, 140 miles. Well, the rider's pretty tired after day 2, but we spoke to 1 or 2 of them to see what the reaction was.
Very nice race. I like it. Next year, maybe.
Well, not a lot to say, but
Nella 500 è una classifica abbastanza complicata.
well, Trolley is saying that it wasn't too difficult, but he's going to have to really pull something out of the bag. He found out, exactly as the others, that it was so easy in places that he's slipping a little bit off the pipe in terms of mental concentration, and that made it tricky. But he says also, philosophically, that there's a reasonably long time to go. That's only the end of day 2. Anything can happen, he said, and the weather just might change. So we'll do the best we can. He said, I'm fairly optimistic, and I don't think the Czechoslovakians can remain as dominant for the rest of the week as they have been. Certainly dominant at the end of day 2, though. Czechoslovakia still out on top of the trophy team competition. Great Britain there in 5th place then. They're up on the leaderboard. Juniors, Czechoslovakia again from a very strong French junior team. Sweden, Spain, and there you have it. Individual class winner. Passeri again supreme in the 125s. We're looking for Edmondson to crack it there. We're going to got something in the region of 10 minutes to get their bikes sorted out before they get off into the real action. And let me tell you now, Paul Edmondson has sorted, or rather his brother Derek has sorted out that problem. They've diagnosed it as ignition timing, and Edmondson has made the necessary adjustments to the 125cc Husqvarna, and it remains to be seen if the diagnosis was correct, because this is the danger man, Passeri, who is very, very strong indeed in the 125cc class after 2 days. 250 man Stefan Peter Hansel on the Sonoto Yamaha. Sonoto, of course, the French importers of Yamaha. Peter Hansel, probably the best off-road enduro stroke long-distance rally rider to come out of France for many, many years. Giorgio Grasso. He's about the only man who's on the pace anywhere nearly as quick as Stefan Peter Hansel. 3rd place behind Kari Tiainen, though, is the best he can do today. But that's a lot better than previous years when he was running the KTM. Change now then out onto the stages to an uphill climb. The map promises to be a strong uphill, but no real problems here. Now, you imagine what it would be like if it were wet. If we had rain, we'd have something like a river, and you can see exactly where the water has been running down that uphill track. The little bikes going first, screaming up there. The 125 men. And Wojciech pushing just a little bit too much there, swinging it round, have another go, but he's got to get the bike out of the track, because any moment, and here they are, the rest of the riders have to get past the obstacle. Passeri, though, riding like a one-day trials rider, feet up, balancing all the way up, much to the appreciation of the Czech crowd. Passeri, an unblemished performance. Jeff Nilsson, world champion in the 125 class, storms past that tail ender. Now Paul Edmondson. Well, it's going better, isn't it? Ed is on the back wheel. He's going much, much better. Nice riding from Paul Edmondson. Dare I say, posing a little bit to the crowd there, Edmondson. Jaime Colom from Spain. Typical sort of forceful riding from the Spaniard there. Oh, the Czech getting it just a bit too crossed up in the road of Kari Tiainen, but Tiainen forcing through, hops up a little bunny hop, pulls a wheelie, and is away. Uwe Weber, he's a fighter by nature, and the people like him. One of the best and most loved Germans to come to the World Championship races, as is fellow countryman von Zitzenwitz, a real favorite of the crowds. You can hear the hooters and the applause going. This is what the people like to see. My goodness me. Now, is that demonstration riding or what? Karl-Heinz Holtz then. Big Bill. 4-stroke power, a real handful up through this track, but so long as you ride in the ruts and don't get one wheel in one rut and one wheel in the other, then you're in deep trouble. Von Zitzenwitz again. At the finish then, the Czech challenge all fell apart because Požledný went out. Požledný had a big problem and lost a lot of time, so he slowed down as well. Craig Kennedy, one of the junior team, went out. We had 7 or 8 riders who fell with injury. Tyre changes imperative if they're done properly. Tianen then just cleaning up the discs there, the wire brush flying around, the dust coming off, and Edmondson now very happy with the motor, knows he's on with a chance of the 125cc win. The rider has to do everything himself. He's not allowed to even be handed the spanners. People can watch and advise, but they cannot touch, otherwise that would entail disqualification. They are, however, allowed to put the oil and petrol in. Uwe Weber had a reasonably good day. He was right up there with the front runners on day 3. Well, he said it wasn't too bad. He was going quite well today. He found the hill climb section reasonably easy to cope with. He's fairly confident. The German team challenge very, very strong indeed. And we're very, very pleased with it, he said.
Weil wir ja 6 Tage fahren müssen und wenn der große Regen hier noch kommen sollte, kann sich hier noch vieles entscheiden.
This day was not so happy. I have a big crash for the enduro test. I take a stone with the front wheel, so I do a big crash. But the motocross test was very good. I like it and I have no problem.
It was a good day for me. I was on the motocross test, I think 6, and it's a very good time. The track is very good for me. I like it, the mountains, everything, and yes, it's good for me. Yesterday I had a very bad day. I was 4 minutes too early in the clock. There were a lot of guys very late on that control, and they thought Gerard is also very late, but it wasn't. I was 4 minutes too early and they sent me in the clock, and yes, you have a lot of points, and the whole day you're thinking about it. It's terrible.
Das Wetter wird wohl bis zum Wochenende so bleiben, haben die Meteorologen.
Well, it's going very well for the German team. We came up yesterday quite well, and my goodness me, look at, they certainly did. 3rd place then for the German team. Sweden, Czechoslovakia have slipped to 2nd. Junior trophy team, Great Britain there in 5th place in the junior trophy, but the Czechoslovakians still on top. Now the individuals. Edmondson, look at that, 125 man, he's there. Peter Hansel creaming off the 250s. Day 4 then, out on the stage. The weather hasn't changed and the organisers, I think, hedged their bets. I think it's fair to say. They made it relatively easy just in case the rain came down, because in 1982, torrential rain made the tracks almost impassable. And a new regulation means that the tread depth on the tyres must be no more than 13 millimetres. So if it were to get muddy, and they've got relatively short knobbles on the tyres, then a lot of the bikes would find it difficult to get round the circuit. So I think the organisers did the right thing. The weather has certainly held, though, which has made it very fast, very stony, very dusty, but boy, is it picturesque. out on the open country, it's easy to do that because, getting back to what we said earlier, the concentration lapses, and that's the sort of thing that happens. However, no injury resulting, too much front brake on the rear end look, a meter in the air, completely sideways. This is well past the point of no return. We're past the point of no return for this part of the program. Join us again after the break. At the end then of the 4th day, drivers running in. Mark Morales, pretty disconsolate Morales, looking just about all in there. Not pleased, I think, with the world the way it's gone.
A little bit bad luck in the beginning. First, Jeff Nilsson was a little bit sick in the stomach, and then too much crashes in the special tests, and also me feeling really bad in the stomach yesterday, but now it's coming a little bit better.
For me, these past 4 days has been very good. The test times is maybe a little bit too slow, but I keep going. I have no problem with the bike. It's keep running. And we were second after the Czech guys the 4 first days, but they have a little bit problem. They get 6 minutes, so now the Swedish team in top.
I think that, yeah, it's not going too badly at all. He said my Paris-Dakar and my previous experience here is helping me through tremendously. The French team is much, much stronger than I thought it would be. He said we're well placed in the table so long as everybody keeps going. The circuit is okay. It could get a bit difficult if it gets wet, but no, I'm having a pretty good time and I'm confident and sitting really on top of the 250cc table. It's not really a problem for me.
Je crois qu'on ne peut pas espérer une victoire, mais on peut espérer revenir sur le podium, c'est-à-dire au moins sur la 3e place.
Well, 3rd place he's hoping for there. Last 4 days not so bad, says Karl-Heinz Holtz. The special test was a little bit slow to cope with. Our team jumped to 5th place from 5th to 3rd. I hope we can keep it and bring, if not 3rd, bring a better result home. So Karl-Heinz Holtz fairly confident with the way the German challenge is going here in the International 6 days in Czechoslovakia. And why shouldn't he be? 3rd place, he's saying, we're pleased with that, and let's hope the things keep going as they are. Results then, end of day 4. Sweden then topping the trophy table from the Germans. France, Great Britain still there in 5th place, and Great Britain well represented in the junior trophy in 4th, but the Americans, and that's the surprise, what a sensational result for the Americans, out there on top. Paul Edmondson still heading the 125s. Peter Hansel, well, who else? Kent Carlson is absolutely clean so far. And umbrellas, day 5, and it's raining. Now, some of the weaker riders are a bit nervous about this because that's going to ruin everything they've worked for over the past 4 days, but equally, the hardened enduro men say, fine, we don't care. That's going to give us the opportunity really to get really among the back markers, and if we've been poorly performing so far, then the wet conditions might help. Having said that, just as quickly as it started, the rain stopped. 1 hour later, it's dusty again, and in fact, dusty as ever. Pretty calm going here, out in the open country, out on the stage, so we're going to get off, I think, to the cross-country test just as soon as we can, but we'll watch a couple more through. Stefan Peter Hansel having a fairly sedate ride, and the time's easy on the stage, so nobody's breaking their neck at all. You can see they're pretty well coasting here. I think the cross-country stage is going to be just a little bit different when we get to the motocross test. Now, cross-country test, this is against the clock. Everybody has to ride as hard as they can. World champion Jeff Nilsson couldn't really confirm his title win over Edmondson because he's been weak, he's had stomach problems. And bad rumors say that maybe the Czechoslovakians sent him to a hotel that did bad food just to get him out of the running. Edmondson is his old self again, collarbone mended, he is really on the boil, and the ignition timing sorted, the Husky is quick. Pushment, Xavier Pushment. Now, Patrick Haas going well, but the biggest surprise of all, I guess, that the American juniors are out there in front. That is really an astonishing result for Jimmy Lewis, who's leading that junior American team. The Americans, well, we've seen them, haven't we, in motocross. Once they turn their hands to it and get serious, they are unbeatable. Kari Tienen, always strong, but not tough enough to beat Stefan Peter Hansel, who flies through the air, supremely in control. Giovanni Sala, runner up behind Peter Hansel. Joachim Hennendal going nicely as well. And the boys from down under, they're hosting next year's event. So the Australians in the distinctive green and yellow livery, feeling their way round here. They need just a bit of training, and they've got to stage the International 6 Days Enduro in 1992, so that'll be a tremendous challenge for them. Pozledny retired, broke his gearbox main shaft, absolutely punished the bike so much that the gearbox fell apart, the transmission just couldn't take it. Swedish world title trophy man, Bill Anderson. And then coming into the evening checkpoint, the Americans are leading the junior championship. Holland are just 2,000 points behind them. I think the US manager is more nervous than the US riders as they go through their routine tyre changing. Off with the old, on with the new. Now, disc brake on top, sprocket underneath. That's the right way to do it, that's for sure. Otherwise, if the lever slips, you take 10 pounds of skin off your knuckles. And there speaks a man from experience, I can assure you. 1 foot on the tyre lever, so the Americans going very well, the team manager very nervous. But what a result for them, I just can't get over that. German team members as well. The French Desert Foxes, though, Stefan Peter Hansel, Gilles Lelay, Morales. Well, statistics, 1,300 kilometers just behind them. 81 riders have retired. Marc Morales, another one of the Frenchmen. As Metzeler shipped the rubber in, my goodness me, they've got through some of that black gold.
La course des 6 jours en Tchécoslovaquie.
Well, the track here is okay in Czechoslovakia. It's not too bad. It's very suitable for us in France, the way it's going at the moment, because we like it hard, we like it stony, we like it dusty. Yeah, it's going pretty perfectly. There's no major problem at all. We don't want it to rain because it could be tricky for us then and throw the competition wide open. But so long as it stays hard, stony and dusty, that is the sort of thing we like in France. We're used to it.
Sinon, bon, moi je suis second en 350 et bon, Carlson va très vite.
Morales then 350 class, absolutely storming on. He's going well. Carlson is the man.
Today, well, the 6 days now has been going really well, and today I've just started to get used to the special tests, and I think now I can safely say that I'm back to how I was before I broke my collarbone. So for me now, I'm really happy, and I hope that tomorrow can bring some good luck for me and for Husqvarna, and we can bring them the 6 days title.
Edmondson beaming then for the camera. No surprise to see Sweden on top. That's a surprise for Germany. France, Great Britain now up to 4th, and Holland there in 5th. The USA's astonishing. USA junior team on top, Holland, Poland, Czechoslovakia and Sweden. Paul Edmondson still out there, the 125cc leader. Stefan Peter Hansel unblemished. Kent Carlson, what else? The 6th and final day, and I wonder how many sighs of relief have been uttered as the riders leave the Parc Fermé on this, the last morning. France is close behind Germany. There's a fairly relaxed atmosphere around the Parc Fermé here. Everyone senses that there could be a very, very good result for France, and they're quite excited about that, and why shouldn't they be? Great Britain too is having one of its best results for many, many years, currently sitting in 4th place in the trophy competition. Might have been a different result if Paul Edmondson's Husky was a little bit quicker on day 1. Final motocross then. And this is true motocross style. A good crowd, 20,000 in total, have gathered for this, the final day's event, which takes place pretty well in close proximity to the town of Povážská Bystrica. They won't be going a million miles away today. So watch this one, normal motocross, But the organisers, regrettably, have not watered the course. That is something of an oversight. And if you just watch these pictures for the next minute, you will see that that is self-evident. The 80s into their motocross, just look at the dust. If you're not in the top 10, you're not going to see anything. That is horrendous. How can you possibly enter into a world competition for team points when you can't even see which way you're going? The crowd absolutely in uproar. They can't even see the action. And such was the outcome that the riders, in fact, logged an official protest. Unfortunately, as a body of riders, they stuck together. And the verdict was that the day would be declared null and void in terms of points, and the riders would race for fun, for experience. And that is the result. And on the left of your picture, team manager Jock Wilson talking with Edmondson there. The riders in great debate as to what should happen. And as I said earlier, then the outcome was that no points will be awarded and they ride for fun. A wonderful off-road course here in Czechoslovakia, but I think the right decision was taken. And we asked Paul Edmondson about his verdict. What did he think of the organisers' decision and the riders' sit-in?
For me, it was a shame to see the 6 days end like this. I don't think anybody planned it whatsoever, but under the conditions of the track here at the final motocross test, it was just impossible to ride. And for the riders' safety and everybody else, we all mutually agreed that it was best if we didn't ride, and that we all just rode for fun, and nobody would take the race seriously, and none of the points would count toward the final positions. So, you know, with me winning now, okay, it's not so nice way to win, but even so, the thing was for the safety of the riders and for nothing else. So under those circumstances, I think everybody is happy.
Well, he said it much better than I did, didn't he? He knew exactly the score, but there you are, look, Sweden out on top. Germany, France, Great Britain, a magnificent result. Don't decry it, 4th place, incredible. An even better result for the USA, top of the junior team event. Holland, Poland, Czechoslovakia. Individuals, Stefan Peter Hansel, the unofficial outright winner of the overall event. Australia's running it next year, and they're fairly optimistic that they can give the International 6 Days Enduro the right sort of attitude.
Cessnock is the venue for next year's ISDE. It's approximately 160 kilometres north of Sydney. I think you find the terrain in the area of Cessnock is very similar to what you have here in Czechoslovakia. Many hills, many rocks. We have plenty of sandy sections, some rainforest sections. The riders, both the riders and spectators, are sure to find next year's ISD in Australia very interesting to view and to ride. We are doing much work at the present time to prepare for this event. We have 113 clubs in the area of Cessnock which are providing all the manpower and the workers to lay out the course and to provide all the marshals with the event. I'm sure when the people come from Europe 6 days next year in Australia, they'll find, they're very happy with what they find. The event will be a great success, I'm sure.
Success here in Czechoslovakia. From me, Barry Nutley, cheerio, but let me tell you, Kent Carlson didn't drop a single mark. Can he do it in Australia?